Right. All right. Testing one, two. We're now going live. Welcome everyone to Dorsey's Resource. The topic of this video is going to be top 10 must-watch Hollywood movies and independent documentaries, connecting the dots. I intend to go over in this video top 10. These are for my own preference, in my opinion, that are not only Hollywood documentaries, but I also included independent documentaries as well. This will help connect the dots. Once again, the title of this video is going to be Top 10 Must-Watch Hollywood Movies and Documentaries I Recommend, as well as I put something like this in the title, Connecting the Dots, because I want you guys to basically put the pieces together. So welcome to Dorsey's Resource. Thank you all that continue to rock with me, join me, and I'm going to get right into the topic. So the first mainstream movie, I'm going to go over the mainstream movies first that I recommend, or Hollywood movies, I should say, that were actually released, actually shown at the movie theaters. One of these, by the way, it's going to kind of be like it was a YouTube documentary, but it was really big. It made it to Netflix. It got sold to like Hulu. It's a newer film. I'll kind of go over that. And there's a reason why I'm going over these movies. Used to be like a reoccurring topic some years ago, a while ago, if you guys remember. I since sort of have updated, and this is a lot of material. And trust me, these are films. If you have not saw them already, you're going to want to see them. I've watched all of them before. The vast majority, some of them I've watched several times before, and they will help connect the dots, and I'll kind of explain what's coming down the pipeline. There are things that are put in the movies to kind of, some of you all may already know, that can, if you've heard of predictive programming, we're in the future now. There's technology that's constantly improving, getting better. You may be hearing more talk about AI, artificial intelligence. By the way, there's a lot of people that I meet that even have their own preferences, by the way. And if you're wondering, I'm not going to go over movies like The Matrix, The Wizard of Oz, even though those are good. These are a list from my own preference, but I think it's very important for you to watch, check out these documentaries. So this is what I'm kind of going over. It's just a verbal breakdown list that I'm going to go through, that I've put together. And after the Hollywood movies, I'm going to go cover the independent documentaries I recommend. So without further ado, please check out The Island of Dr. Moreau. I believe this was released sometime in 1996. There's things, you pay close attention, you keep your eyeglasses on, look at these movies with your third eye. You kind of know the saying, if you can kind of read between the lines, have an open mind, by the way. Out of sight, out of mind. That's how I do things. It's high-powered information. You guys, if you haven't seen these movies, trust me, you know, they will open your eyes up, and that's why I put something like this in the title, Connecting the Dots. Well, if you haven't heard of, check out The Island of Dr. Moreau. Some people might have said there may be like a remake. There may have been an earlier version years ago. I'm not really sure on that. But the version I saw was from the 1990s, the late 90s. It's called The Island of Dr. Monroe. Please check that out. The next documentary, well, actually mainstream movie, by the way, and this is the film I was talking about earlier. This is why I put this in the mainstream category separately from the documentaries. This is called The Thinning. Please check out part 1 and 2. I want them to do a part 3 so bad, but I believe the reason why they won't release a part 3, because it'll tell you how to defeat the NWO. You know what I mean? If you know what that stands for. But they did a good job. The actor Stacey Dash, I've heard she's the cousin of Damon Dash from the famous Def Jam. She was a star in the movie as well as one of the Paul brothers. I think Logan Paul, if that is his name, that became a YouTube sensation and later crossed in the mainstream. Him and his brother went into like boxing. they were some of the two main protagonists in the movie. Some stars. There may have been some other people, from what I remember. But I did watch part one and two called The Thinning. Very powerful movie. This was a mainstream movie because nowadays a lot of things are Netflix and Hulu. It was originally a YouTube film. I think a friend of mine told me he didn't get a chance to see it. His brother saw it. It got sold to Hulu or something like that. But it may have been like even a Netflix movie as well, because that's what a lot of that's popular nowadays is the streaming apps. Well, some of these movies and documentaries I'm going to go over was before this new era of the streaming apps. I feel you should also document, download these. If you can, archive them, basically. The third one, mainstream movie, is called Divergent. And I would recommend check out all of the entire series. Now, I haven't finished all of the seeing the rest of the Divergence, but I think I saw part two. I definitely saw part one. I can't recall for sure there was like a series that was done. I'm not sure if that was separately for television, but it was very very eye-opening. A friend of mine actually put me up on that film. I didn't know about Divergent. A friend of mine shared that with me. Please check out Divergent. The next movie, mainstream Hollywood movie, came out in 2009. By the way, ironically, I looked up some of the dates. I felt it was important for you guys to go back. So, this is over a decade ago. Several of these mainstream movies were, kind of back in the day, but still, they may already be in your library, in your archive. If you pull out, you have your DVDs, a Blu-ray, or whatever. The next one, after I mentioned Divergent, is going to be Surrogates. Surrogates, I believe the actor Bruce Willis played in this. It was released 2009 was the release date. Please check out Surrogates. It's related today and has some similarities to Avatar and those of you all who know about the metaverse and think where things are going. Think about Facebook. Have a Facebook account. Facebook changed their name to Meta. Metaverse, they Meta for short. But think about those of you all who obviously are involved in cryptocurrencies, which I know many of you all are. Some of my subscribers, those of you all who are in the crypto, know about the metaverse. Some of you guys are a lot more knowledgeable. I'm not the foremost authority or expert. But Surrogates I'm not going to spoil it for you guys, so this is not going to be a spoiler alert. But check out Surrogates, released in 2009. And I just gave you guys the next film I was going to go over already. I said Avatar, because it was similar, it has some similarities to something dealing with the new technology that's coming out. And I was saying relation to the metaverse, something that the powers that be in the ruling class kind of want everybody in. This is why I'm tying these in with the documentaries, by the way. I'm connecting the dots for you all to kind of give you guys some pieces, but not spoil it for you guys if you haven't watched it yet. My friend is like that. I'm not personally like that when people tell me things in advance. Because I still have to see the movie or the documentary, so I don't get spoiled regardless, even if somebody tells me what the storyline was, because I try to go and watch the trailer first, by the way, which you can also do to a lot of these films should have a trailer to it. So I went over Surrogates. The next one was Avatar. So let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So technically this is like number 5, but the Thinning was a part 1 and 2, which I went over earlier. So check out both of those. So the number 6 in this list would be The International. This film was also released in 2009. Please check out The International. It had some deep symbolism in relation to Freemasonry, by the way, the secret society. I actually found out about this documentary from listening to, if you guys are familiar with Pastor Lindsey Williams from back in the day, who told his testimony how he lived with the elite of the world, Pastor Lindsey Williams, and he recommended one year he was going over, he was mentioning there, because you guys are familiar, the elites put things in movies, by the way. This was actually admitted by famous, from the notorious powerful family, Nick Rockefeller, when he befriended Aaron Russo. Mentioned this, by the way, so these are not my words. Former movie producer, rest in peace to Aaron Russo, that actually produced actual Hollywood films, but he did an independent documentary as well, which I'm going to go over later in the top 10 list. After I list these top 10 mainstream films, I'm going to go over the film Well, he mentioned that Nick Rockefeller mentioned to him that we put these symbolisms, symbolic hidden messages, predictive programming in the films. You guys have heard of Hegelian dialectic, that's problem, reaction, solution. So understand these films are well thought out. This is why there is a connection with Hollywood, and some of you guys familiar with that term, the Illuminati, the mysterious term. Some people are afraid to say it. You shouldn't, because there's so many people. It's like a household name nowadays. But they're actually, aka the ruling class elite. They do exist. They are real, and that's why I'm kind of going over this to help you guys connect the dots. For many that don't understand, you guys can learn and wake up through watching mainstream movies as well as the independent documentaries I'm going to go over. So please check out The International. Dealt with some symbolism, very powerful stuff, something I saw towards the end when he mentioned that we're everywhere, and he was referring to traveling men, and I would include traveling women as well, Eastern stars, that use symbolic hidden codes and messages. Check out The International, released in 2009. Next film on the list, this should be, I think, number 7, Elysium, released in 2013. The actor, main protagonist in the film, Matt Damon. I saw this film. Check out Elysium, 2013. Powerful film, but has definitely some symbolism that you can connect the dots down the road. And some of these films, you're going to want to rewatch them and connecting the pieces together. Next film on the list is called Eyes Wide Shut. This was released in 1999. Main protagonist in the film, the actor Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman. Produced by movie producer Stanley Kubrick. Now, many of these movies I don't know. I'm not going to necessarily go over who produced them or who the actors are. I'm just sharing this with you guys offhand. But please check out, if you haven't, you're going to want to watch Eyes Wide Shut. I saw this before with Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman, produced by Stanley Kubrick. And it was rumored, by the way, don't know how true this is, allegedly that he refused to edit or delete certain scenes from this film. And something happened, I'll just say, that wasn't or didn't go well. Well, this is what it's believed to be, but I heard he knew about some other things, but there was like these controllers or people behind the scenes, by the way, were upset with him because he allegedly refused to delete a particular scene. And this was a mainstream movie, guys, by the way. It's a true story. Check it out. I've seen it already, watched it. I even watched it on my laptop computer to show you how, skilled I am. And I actually got more out of it. There was a scene, this won't be a spoiler alert, where later in the movie, the actor Tom Cruise, I don't remember the name of his character, he was in a restaurant and he was reading the newspaper. So say if you were watching this at the actual movie theater when this came out or was released, you wouldn't notice all of this. But I noticed this when I was able to pause my laptop. At the time, I watched it on my laptop, and I paused it, zoomed in, and was able to get a close-up and look at the paper that he was reading in the movie to kind of help me connect the dots to the story. You see, guys, what I mentioned, it's kind of like brainstorming, because I wanted to kind of understand better what was going on. And I found out about this film, what piqued my curiosity. Some friends of mine some years ago, we used to actually meet at Panera Bread around the time period of 09, 2010, etc. And I credit one of my best friends and a person he's close to for helping wake me up. I tell him, I say, hey, you guys think I didn't used to listen to you? Well, back then, it's kind of going in my subconscious mind, and I was paying attention. You guys really helped wake me up, helped me connect some dots about some things I didn't know. I thought I was awake to the truth, but I wasn't fully awake. There was more layers to this. There's different levels of being really awake to the truth, but fully awake or extremely awake with high-powered information. And they kind of went over some things from that movie called Eyes Wide Shut with me, and I had some later questions to ask my friend who was experienced in some things. But that's neither here nor there. The next top movie on this list, out of this top 10 mainstream Hollywood list, is going to be Hunger Games. Check out all the Hunger Games. I put trilogy in here, the full Hunger Games trilogy. That was also a book written, I believe, by the author Susan Collins. This was really big at the time when this was released. If you never saw it, check out Hunger Games. going to connect some major pieces as far as what the ruling class want down the road, by the way. So these are all of pretty much a wrap up of all the mainstream Hollywood movies. I went over the top 10 must watch Hollywood movies and documentaries I recommend that will help you connect the dots and the pieces together. Now I'm getting ready to go over my top 10 list of documentaries, and I just thought about adding this documentary to the list. If it is still available on YouTube, you want to check it out. I just thought about this. I didn't have time to write this down, but I did write down the list. Check out this film. It's called Conspiracy of Silence. Check out this documentary. It was supposed to be released on the Discovery Channel some years ago, and at the last minute, it was banned. If you can still find them, you should be able to watch this for free, because one of the documentaries I'm going to go over, you have to pay for, but majority of these documentaries you can watch for free. Now, some of the mainstream ones you might have to pay for. Some you might already have in your library. You know, everybody's situation and circumstance is different. I talked to people in the past. Some people said they had some of these documentaries in their library already and said their curiosity was piqued. They were going to go back and watch them. So I'm just giving you a heads up. Now I'm going over the independent documentaries. And the first one on the list I just thought about just now. This actually wasn't written down. I just thought of it. I used to go over this documentary a lot, independent documentary, but this was actually supposed to air on the Discovery Channel years ago. Someone didn't want it to air. They bought up all the rights to the documentary at the last minute and prevented it. But the former FBI agent, Ted Gunderson at the time, who became like an investigative journalist to help investigate these sex trafficking rings, got a hold of a copy. And there's actually, you can watch this documentary for free on YouTube if it's still on there. If not, then check other sites like Rumble, BitChute. And a heads up, if somebody has a copy of it, you can upload it to independent web hosting platforms that don't censor, like Band.video or Brighteon.com, or go to Rumble, BitChute. These are free web hosting platforms that respect and uphold the law to freedom of speech, which is protected by the First Amendment of the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, First Amendment. It's explicitly clear in that, and that's why I'm going over these films in this type of manner to help you guys connect the pieces and things. And this is not no conspiracy theory at all or whatever, but this will help you connect the list, because oftentimes when people say that, use that term, they're trying to discredit someone. But these films will help you connect the pieces. The documentaries are actually well done, and actually has witnesses, by the way. And there's further information if you know how to research. You can look the names of some of the people in these documentaries. Some of them have passed away. If you can't support them, if you do have the funds, it's up to you. I always encourage you to. Some people risk their lives to share this information. So if you do have the finance, and if you have deep pockets, if you're a high roller or big baller, wouldn't hurt to, kind of try to show them some love, support them, the people who, put these documentaries together. The next documentary on the list is called Freedom to Fascism. One I was mentioning earlier, where the guy that befriended Nick Rockefeller. This was produced by former movie producer Aaron Russo. Rest in peace. Too. It's called Freedom to Fascism by Aaron Russo. Please check out Freedom to Fascism. You still should be able to watch that for free on YouTube. You type it in. Since YouTube's trying to hide the search results, you may have to just keep scrolling down. Give you guys a secret. Just put it in the search engine. Just keep scrolling down till you see it, till you identify it. It's called Freedom to Fascism by Aaron Russo. Something might have some additional wording in there, but you guys know you pretty much found it. Next documentary on the list is produced by Alex Jones. It's called Endgame, Blueprint for Global Enslavement. It'll have like a green logo. Some people actually have the DVD, the physical copy. But this was, should be able to still watch for free on YouTube. If not YouTube, then check out BitChute. Other platforms like Rumble, they might have uploaded it on there, because you know how YouTube's trying to cover up, trying to hide stuff. Mighty funny. Why are they trying to do that? You guys can kind of read between the lines and figure that out. But check out Endgame, Blueprint for Global Enslavement. not a spoiler alert, but to kind of give you guys a heads up, that was a well-produced documentary. I saw it many years ago, watched multiple times. There was an investigative journalist from Europe. He was originally born in Lithuania, named Daniel Estelin, was in this documentary. He was an investigative journalist, and they covered the Bilderberg group, that is the secret version of the Davos group. They have those meetings every year, like towards the end of May, beginning of June. The Davos group meetings just wrapped up. Towards near the end of January, went from like the January 14th through the 20th, something like that. Governor Gretchen Whitmer was invited, which I mentioned to you guys in the previous video earlier. They're trying to tap her to become president. Governor Brian Kemp of Georgia, I shouldn't say I heard, was also in attendance. The CEO of Pfizer was there as well. I can't think of his name, but wears the glasses, by the way. But a lot of top CEOs, people very similarly to the Bilderberg meeting, heads of state, politicians, governors, you name it, tech companies. They'll have representatives there, like representatives of Amazon, BlackRock, Larry Fink. There was a list that got leaked out. Allegedly was in attendance. George Soros' son, Alexander Soros, was on the list as well. Even though I heard George Soros allegedly backed out, but you have to understand his son, the Illuminati ruling class, have their children follow in their footsteps. By the way, like if they're into eugenics, things like that, like Bill Gates' father was part of Planned Parenthood. That's why it's not a coincidence why the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, which they use their foundations to disguise as though they're trying to save humanity, that they're philanthropists, but which they're using in many cases for corrupt purposes. They don't have our best interest at heart. And Alex Jones, in producing the documentary called Endgame: Blueprint for Global Enslavement, exposes this, the Bilderberg, the secret agenda, as well as investigative journalists and others he interviewed. Jim Tucker passed away, rest in peace to, he was an older guy, but Daniel Estelin was from a European investigative journalist, originally born in Lithuania, was in this documentary as well. So that's a powerful must-watch documentary. And I actually heard it was seen by over millions of people already, even famous people, believe it or not. Yep. So the next list I went over the top 10 must-watch Hollywood movies. Now I'm going over the top 10 documentaries I recommend. It may actually be top 11 because I added Conspiracy of Silence to the list, which I just thought about. The next on the list I've gone over many times. You guys have heard me harp on these three. I'm going to kind of run through real quick. Monopoly Men. This is like number 3 or 4. Money Masters. These are two separate documentaries. Monopoly Men. That's shorter than Money Masters. Money Masters is longer, by the way, but they both related to the banking system. By the way, it's going to help you connect the dots, help you connect the pieces. So please check out Money Masters and Monopoly Men. The next on the list is called Change is on the Horizon. I've gone over this documentary in the past. If you're familiar with the reset, the global currency reset, the Iraqi dinar, why is it being held up? Other things related to redemption, education, sovereignty. That documentary will help you connect the pieces as well. Check out Changes on the Horizon. See, I'm giving you guys a little synopsis, not spoiling for you guys. I highly recommend once you check them out, you're going to connect a lot of pieces. You're going to become smarter. You're going to have this is high-powered information because I've combined together mainstream movies as well as independent documentaries to show you both sides of the spectrum. Give you balance, but also a close eye opener to what's really going on. Not hearsay, not no BS. Can't discredit this with fact check. None of that. This is highly accurate information. So I combined the dots, connected the pieces for you guys. So I went over Changes on the Horizon. Next on the list, you can watch for free on YouTube. I actually just looked it up earlier as I wrote down this list for you guys to check out. Is called Ring of Power, Empire of the City. Please check out Ring of Power, Empire of the City. And that's the name. It'll say Ring of Power 1, Empire of the City. Somebody uploaded it. It was like 4 hours. That's a long documentary. I've actually watched it before. And that has very powerful information that complements a lot of the documentaries that I went over. It has other things. A friend of mine told me he recognized the voice of the lady who did a voiceover of that documentary was like a professional news anchor, somebody that actually worked in the mainstream before. So sometimes when these people have woken up to the truth, they've helped produce documentaries independently. So she narrated that. I don't know her name, but a friend of mine that's very well studied historian, by the way, a good friend of mine, he also had a secret security clearance in one of the branches of the military. I will not say, actually told me the name of that reporter, the lady who narrated Ring of Power, Empire of the City, told me she was actually like a journalist, a mainstream TV anchor, a journalist. You know, they work in that field of journalism. She did an excellent job in covering, narrating Ring of Power, Empire of the City. And you can watch that free, once again, on YouTube, by the way. Next on the list, these are two separate documentaries, but similar. They were like unofficially parts 3 or 4. I don't remember which order, but Zeitgeist Addendum. It's called Zeitgeist Addendum. Type in Zeitgeist Addendum, Zeitgeist, like you spell the word addendum separately, Addendum, Zeitgeist Addendum. And then there's another version. This may have been like a part 5 or 6. I don't remember the order, but you guys can figure it out. Check out Zeitgeist Moving Forward. This is separate. Very good, called Zeitgeist Moving Forward. Very well produced, very well articulated, very well done. Will help you connect the dots in our modern day society, help you understand the world better, this information and things from a psychological perspective, from sociology and psychology. Those of you all who are big fans or took psychology in college or sociology, Zeitgeist Addendum separately and Zeitgeist Moving Forward, 2 separate documentaries you can watch for free on YouTube. But please check out if you have the chance. Now, this next documentary that I'm going to cover, by the way, I actually purchased this, a physical copy, some years ago. But if you do have the funds, because I mentioned all these documentaries, you won't be able to necessarily watch for free, but I highly recommend that you support the people if you can, if you have deep pockets, if you're a high roller. I understand some people don't have the funds to do this, and they didn't ask me to do this for them, any of these people. This is not clout chasing. I'm just trying to go over high-powered information to empower you guys, my subscribers, to help you connect the dots, increase your intelligence, help you get smarter in this type of information. It's called Scientists Are Under Attack. This documentary was done in 2009. I actually have the physical DVD in my possession. I purchased many years ago. I bought from InfoWars website. But you can, this documentary is on YouTube, and it costs, says $4.99 to rent or buy it. I mean, to rent it. That's the HD version. It's a little cheaper price for the standard definition. And then if you want to purchase it, it's $7.99, really $8 pretty much if you want to purchase it. And it's on YouTube. You know how they have that area where you can buy it. Now, I actually have saw this already, very well done. It's called Scientists Are Under Attack. Just type in how that's spelled, Scientists Are Under Attack, in the YouTube search engine. It was a documentary. The date I put in parentheses is produced in 2009. If you want to rent it, it's $4.99 on YouTube, or if you want to buy it, the high definition version, $7.99 on YouTube. Just putting it out there, but very well done. Will help you connect the dots, especially what we went through a year or 2 ago. You guys connect the pieces, you can figure that out. And some other things dealing with our food supply, and that's all I'll leave it at. But these documentaries will show you the evidence, by the way, legal evidence of things certain corporations have done that they're trying to cover up and hide, by the way. Now, the last documentary on this list for independent documentaries, part of the top 10 must-watch Hollywood movies and documentaries. This is part of the documentary list, top 10. This one's going to be called College Conspiracy. This was produced, the date is for 2011. It's an older documentary called College Conspiracy. Very powerful. That went over how college that I had attended some years ago in Ohio had actually gotten sued by people and the government. They actually had to pay a settlement to some former students that sued them. They were mentioned in this documentary, and produced by the National Inflation Association. By the way, did an excellent job with this documentary. It's called College Conspiracy. Was produced in 2011. You can still watch this for free on YouTube, by the way. You can still watch it for free on YouTube. I just checked it out, by the way. So that's it, guys. I wanted to go over must-watch documentaries. I see a couple people in the chat section I want to acknowledge before I shut this video down. Hadrupo Sosa Marquez says, peace, Cousin Dorsey. Appreciate you. Mikasa Sukasa, Star Sourcer says, thank you. Appreciate you, Star Sourcer, for joining. Mary Saunders says, shalom, Mr. Dorsey. Shalom to you. Greetings to you, Mary. Appreciate you. So, shalom, salah to you guys. Thank you all for joining. The topic of this video was called Top 10 Must-Watch Hollywood Movies and Documentaries that I recommended to help connect the dots. If you guys want to follow me on social media, you can follow me at Dorsey's Resource. Should be in the description box after the video uploads. So just check any of the previous videos that I've done if you want to follow me on social media, and that's my time. Thank you for joining. Thank you for watching. Once again, the marathon will continue. Legends never die. They stay in our hearts. Until next time, you all have a blessed, wonderful night, morning. Take care.